Monarch Legacy of Monsters is bringing big monsters to the small screen on Apple TV+. We've got everything you need to know about its connection to the MonsterVerse, its creative father-son casting, and the Godzilla movies you need to know about before you watch. Monarch Legacy of Monsters was ordered to series back in January 2022. We've finally got our first glimpse of the project in August 2023, with the release of several promo images. It took a while to get an actual release date, but with the arrival of the trailer, fans finally learned when the series will land on their screens, November 17th, 2023. When Monarch is finally released, it will air on Apple TV+. We also know the series will run for 10 episodes, which means we're bound to get plenty of kaiju battles and citywide destruction. Monarch Legacy of Monsters isn't exactly a prequel or a sequel. It's more of a midquel, set after the events of the 2014 Godzilla. That blockbuster flick found Godzilla squaring off against some overgrown bugs called Mutos, massive unidentified terrestrial organisms. According to the official plot synopsis, the series will pick up in the devastating wake of Godzilla's San Francisco battle against the Mutos, and it will focus on siblings following in their father's footsteps. They're looking to discover what their dad's connection is to the secret organization known as Monarch. The series will be split into two timelines, with one set in the 1950s and one set during the 2010s. One of the most intriguing things about Monarch Legacy of Monsters is its impressive lineup of on-screen talent. In a genius bit of casting, both Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt Russell will be playing the same character, Army Officer Lee Shaw. Kurt Russell is one of the most famous movie stars in Hollywood history, playing in major films such as The Thing, Tombstone, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Wyatt also has a pretty impressive resume, acting in projects such as Everybody Wants Some and Lodge 49. He's probably best known as the hot-headed John Walker in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As for the rest of the cast, we'll see Anna Sawai of Pachinko fame and Kiersey Clemens of The Flash. They'll be joined by Anders Holm, Joe Tippett, Eliza Lazowski, Mari Yamamoto, and Hollywood newcomer Ren Watabe. It also appears that John Goodman will be reprising the role of William Randa, his character from Kong Skull Island. Just like the Monarch Agency is controlled by very powerful figures, Monarch Legacy of Monsters is overseen by some pretty impressive creatives. The series was developed by the dynamic duo of Chris Black and Matt Fraction. Black is no stranger to Apple TV Plus productions, having served as an executive producer on Severance and penning the 8th episode What's for Dinner. He's additionally worked on shows such as Invincible and Outcast. Fraction, on the other hand, hails from the world of comics. Along with David Aja, he created a comic book run that inspired the MCU series Hawkeye. And he's also worked on titles such as Uncanny X-Men and The Invincible Iron Man. Speaking of Marvel, we know that Matt Sharkman of WandaVision and Fantastic Four fame will be directing the first 2 episodes of the series. Before Godzilla starts breathing radioactive flame all over Apple TV+, you might want to go back and check out the previous entries in the MonsterVerse, especially if you want to learn more about Monarch. It all starts with 2014's Godzilla, which gave us one of the most memorable movie quotes of all time.
Let them fight.
The next entry in the series introduced us to the other major player in the MonsterVerse series, King Kong. Taking a page from Apocalypse Now, Kong Skull Island is a 70s set Vietnam War-inspired monster tale that stars huge names like Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, and Samuel L. Jackson. Plus, it just might be the best film in the franchise. While it's the most critically despised of the bunch, Godzilla King of the Monsters delivers on the kaiju action. In fact, it brings in 3 of the biggest A-listers from Toho's impressive creature lineup, Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. Then there's the Clash of the Titans. In Godzilla vs. Kong, in one corner you have King Kong, and he is mad. And then in the other corner you have Godzilla, and he's mad. What more do we need to say? The theme of giant monsters destroying their way through infrastructure and trampling innocent people in their wake must be a difficult genre to rate. The original Godzilla film released in 1954 is widely considered a horror movie. However, the modern-era MonsterVerse projects, such as the most recent Godzilla vs. Kong, are better classified as action sci-fi projects, with a fitting PG-13 rating. So, what kind of family-friendliness can we expect from the MonsterVerse's first live-action television series? Apple TV Plus has given Monarch Legacy of Monsters the rating of TVY. The grading indicates that the series is appropriate for all ages. Monarch will be a binge-worthy adventure fit for family night. And for some children who have always been curious about a giant lizard stomping their way through a city, the Apple TV Plus show could be their first glimpse at the original kaiju Godzilla. Breaking ground, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters is rumored to have been filmed with Apple's latest high-tech gadgets. Turns out being funded by one of the biggest tech producers in the world may come with a few benefits for the series. In the summer of 2023, Apple introduced its new headset, the Apple Vision Pro, featuring augmented reality and a slew of cameras, sensors, and unprecedented computing gimmicks. One of Vision Pro's most heavily promoted features was spatial video, which allows a user to immerse themselves in imagery and have the perspective change as they move, similar to a hologram. Shortly after the technology was announced, an Apple insider indicated on X that Monarch: The Legacy of Monsters had been filmed with the spatial video format. But as the release date of the new Apple TV Plus series approaches, the company has yet to officially confirm that it will be viewable through the Vision Pro. Gone are the days when movies featuring giant monsters were limited to attacking a city or two and returning to their respective homes. Films have gotten much bigger throughout the years. These projects appropriately showcase how a kaiju monster would have the entire world turning its heads. The MonsterVerse was one of the first American projects featuring Godzilla, in which the beast doesn't limit its destruction to metropolises like Tokyo or New York City. Rather, the lizard, King Kong, and their Muto brethren pop up across the globe throughout the 4 feature films. It can be expected with global-scale terror and generation-jumping timelines that Monarch: Legacy of Monsters will feature multiple international settings. Aside from a few terrains showcased in the trailer, the filming locations of the series gives us some clues as to what and where to anticipate.
Every time you go to locations in the show, it's a completely different world.
Primarily, Monarch was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, and throughout the province of British Columbia. One Van City local on X shared behind-the-scenes shots of the city being turned into a makeshift army camp. Meanwhile, the cast confirmed that they traveled over the Pacific and filmed on location in Tokyo, Japan. Additionally, showrunner Chris Black revealed in an interview with Entertainment Weekly that some scenes were captured on location in Hawaii. It is easy to get caught up in the thrill of seeing heavyweight monsters on television, but the series is not named after the biggest baddie of them all, Godzilla, for a reason. The show is predominantly about the secret international organization known as Monarch. Agents of the Men in Black-inspired group pop up around the cinematic universe, initially intent on keeping Mutos a secret and protecting the innocent world from Muto-related destruction. If you watched the 4 previous MonsterVerse films and don't recall much about Monarch's involvement, they are probably doing their jobs extremely well. Hopefully, a quick reminder of the organization's history will catch you up to speed. Introduced in 2014's Godzilla, Monarch's origins stretch back to when Big Green was first discovered in 1943. The organization spent the following decades attempting to find Godzilla before it helped them defeat a new Muto in 2014. In Kong's Skull Island, Monarch assisted in discovering the titular Lost Island, essentially uncovering a world of monsters. By 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters, the organization became public knowledge and shifted its motives to water preservation of the endangered monsters. Most recently, in Godzilla vs. Kong, Monarch was at the center of the battle after moving the giant ape from his unstable island home, causing Godzilla to behave aggressively. A social media account on X, Monarch Scientist, has long been a source of MonsterVerse content. Mysteriously, in October 2023, the account came out of dormancy after 3+ years, with some curious messages. One of these read, "This account no longer belongs to Monarch," and the tagline for the account was changed to the curiously mysterious, "It belongs to the truth. Soon, the rest will surface." Additionally, an equally enigmatic website has emerged ahead of the release of Legacy of Monsters. Monarch Unlocked features some top-secret content linked to the Apple TV Plus series, including multiple puzzling images of Monarch files and projects. The most intriguing document found on the site is a short video of John Goodman's character William Randa, who first appeared in Kong's Skull Island and is set to reprise his role in Legacy. Godzilla has a devoted fanbase. While not in the same stratosphere as other fandoms like Marvel or Star Wars, the following for the big lizard can be extremely particular. With a rich history of content dating back nearly 80 years, there have been a plethora of unique designs of Godzilla. Nearly every iteration of the Titan has come with subtle changes to the way the lizard looks. Monarch: Legacy of Monsters will utilize the GareGoji design for its monster originally introduced in 2014's Godzilla. The Hollywood version of Godzilla takes many of its features from dinosaurs, giving the Titan a relatively realistic presence. Interestingly, there is a significant process behind getting Godzilla to look right on screen. Gareth Edwards said at South by by Southwest in 2014, I thought it was going to be an easy job, but they did over 100 designs. We kept trying generation after generation until we landed where we did. You're trying to put out wacky thoughts and ideas, and even if you throw out just 1% of a new direction that steers the design in a new way, it helps out. If Godzilla isn't enough to get you breathing fire and excitement for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, there have been hints as to other kaiju that make an appearance in the series. Legendary's MonsterVerse has been known to revitalize classic Toho monsters, bringing beasts like Mothra, Rodan, and Mechagodzilla to the big screen. Still, there is a whole collection of titans yet to make an appearance in the cinematic universe.
It is so much more vast than we could possibly imagine.
Monarch director Matt Shakman has already revealed that many Mutos will appear in the show beyond the King Lizard. Meanwhile, the trailer and promotion for the series have revealed a few of the beasts to expect. The Apple TV Plus social media account revealed one unidentified flying monster. Additionally, Matt Fraction and Chris Black spoke to Entertainment Weekly about a few other monsters crashing into the first episode. This includes a nightmare-inducing giant spider, known as Mother Longlegs, and a creature described as a giant titan version of a crab called Mantleclaw. Finally, they had one more trick up their sleeves. With all new insect-like Mutos, Fraction said, "It was fun to remind the audience that not all titans are 400 feet tall. There's danger everywhere of all kinds of scale and size." With the release of Monarch Legacy of Monsters fast approaching, the review embargo has been lifted, resulting in a swarm of third-party opinions on the series. Already, Monarch sits at an 89% Rotten Tomatoes critic score. The general consensus is shaping up to indicate that the Apple TV Plus show should be worth the price of admission. However, most of the reviews available online come with a caution sticker for potential viewers. A critic on /Film wrote, "Legacy of Monsters is light on the monsters and heavier on the legacy stuff. Those anticipating lots of titans smashing through buildings and roadways should quell their expectations now." Instead, the series predominantly features a secret government organization and the humans trapped in a world of titanic beasts. Still, with a good mix of pacing, time jumping, and the odd appearance of the biggest, greenest lizard in pop culture, audiences are certain to get some entertainment. With Monarch Legacy of Monsters still awaiting official release, it is premature to expect a second season. However, there are some indications that audiences can expect more from the series beyond the 10 episodes of Season 1. With the MonsterVerse continuing its expansion with another upcoming feature film, Legacy could stick around to help continue the universe. Notably, during an interview with Collider, director Matt Shakman revealed there may be more to the Legacy of Monsters than we will see in the inaugural season. He said, "It's when you pitch a show from the beginning. You pitch, what's the story of the first episode? What's the story of the first season? And what's the story for the next 5 years? That's pretty much expected when you go to pitch a company like Apple. Of course, things change, right? You have all these plans and then you realize that this is a more interesting avenue, and things evolve." Like a slow and steady gigantic lizard emerging from the ocean, the MonsterVerse continues to stomp ahead since its 2014 inception. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, set for a 2024 premiere, will be the next official feature film from the franchise and will conceptually work as a sequel to 2021's Godzilla vs. Kong. Subsequently, other projects have been rumored to be shopped around behind closed doors at Legendary, including a potential Son of Kong film. Still, with fans fully behind the franchise building further, it likely won't be long before the Titans are unleashed beyond 2024.